Hey everyone, welcome to Reddit Readout. Today we are checking out 2-sentence horror. Story 1. It had only been 2 weeks since Sister Alejandra died, but nevertheless she hissed through the darkness of the confessional. It hurts, Padre, hell hurts. Be the first to comment. Nobody's responded to this post yet. Add your thoughts and get the conversation going. Story 2. My 4-year-old son loves to jump out and scare me. Unfortunately, I was holding a kitchen knife the last time he did it. Be the first to comment. Nobody's responded to this post yet. Add your thoughts and get the conversation going. Story 3. Death can't punish all you have done, so we shall grant you immortality, said the gods. That's when I regretted all the sins I had ever committed. Story 4. I was about to die of thirst in the desert when I saw a delicious pool of water. It was only after I drank some that I realized it was salt water. Be the first to comment. Nobody's responded to this post yet. Add your thoughts and get the conversation going. Story 5. The butcher rang up a 2-pound slab for meat for $25. A trail of blood spilled into the main room with the display of similarly priced slabs of meat. A finger fell out of the butcher's pocket as he opened the register. Story 6. I just turned down the aisle to pick up some pasta for dinner. That is when I heard the pop-pop sound and felt the burning in my side and leg. Story 7. Collapsing onto the armchair, still bleeding, unable to eat and barely conscious, I was relieved to finally see a doctor. These symptoms are relatively normal for a woman your age. If they persist, please see me again. Story 8. Sorry about that wait, but the doctor's ready for you now, the nurse said, smiling apologetically. I barely heard her as I yanked at my restraints, more concerned over the disembowelment I'd just witnessed, and the realization that I was next. Story 9. I was glad to finally be away from my stalker, sitting out on my back porch to enjoy my freedom. A laugh sounded from beneath the boards. Story 10. I had finally landed a role in a movie. I would be victim number 15 as the prop looked extremely realistic. Story 11. After multiple failed attempts at finding a new house, I figured it was perfect when a small house suddenly popped up on Craigslist. But as the pouring rain causes the grass in the backyard to grow back, and multiple strange rectangular patches can be made out, I think I'm beginning to understand why the previous owner wanted to get rid of his house so quickly. Story 12. It hurt my heart to leave my little girl behind in that house fire. I knew it was the right choice, though. The government would have never let me keep an imperfect child. Story 13. I couldn't afford a single meal a day 2 months ago, but ever since I started volunteering at the animal shelters, I've been eating 3 square meals a day. Not just children, but also some adults are easy to lure when you have a cute animal with fake injuries with you. Story 14. My son was excited for Insectorama. It wasn't until my son was on the operating table that I realized the brochure said Dissectorama. Story 15. As you go deeper into the cave long unknown to humans, you hear a loud rumble. You realize you've awakened something sinister, something that was never meant to be awoken. Story 16. I don't know where I am or why this man is beating me so relentlessly. He said it was because of what I did to him as a child, but I don't remember anything, let alone having a son. Be the first to comment. Nobody's responded to this post yet. Add your thoughts and get the conversation going. Story 17. One day in the prison showers, I heard the faint laughter of a child. This scared me so much that I dropped my soap. Story 18. Being a carbon copy of a celebrity seemed like a dream at first, meeting a lot of new friends, getting free stuff. After receiving unwanted visitations and psychopathic letters, I'm starting to look into a plastic surgeon. Be the first to comment. Nobody's responded to this post yet. Add your thoughts and get the conversation going. Story 19. I had ADHD as a child and my daughter has it now. It should be fine if I give her my leftover Dexedrine rather than spend the money on new stuff. Story 20. Can everyone see my screen? Everyone on the call said no, but a clear voice behind me in my supposed to be empty house said they could. Story 21. Growing up I was told there was a small possibility I would regain my sight. Then like a miracle I saw it my first color yellow and I heard the very familiar sound of a car horn. Story 22. Me and my new boyfriend sat on his couch as we watched a horror doc about an axe killer from the 80s. We laughed at how he must have a long-lost twin, the resemblance was uncanny. Story 23. The original poster has been removed from existence by this post. The reader of this post is next. Story 24. They don't tell you that the worst part of the job is the smell. After all the years I've worked and all the people I wasn't able to save, I can't enjoy a barbecue or a fire pit, can't go camping, can't have a fucking s'more without thinking of their burning bodies. Story 25. When you reach the age of 15 you are already 16th of the way through your life if you are lucky. 5 more of those left to go, and time only moves faster as you age. Story 26. I keep on hearing coughing in the basement. Then I see a blue and green light, along with a humming sound. Story 27. I was initially ecstatic to hear my brother's wife awoke from her grave illness. However, the stench when he opened the door for me made me fearful for what he had seen. Story 28. I felt safe coming out to my dad after all I once caught him secretly putting on a white dress when I was 5. If only I realized white robes and dresses look pretty similar to a small child. Story 29. In the dim moonlight she heard rustling from the closet. It only added to her terror once she opened it, as she realized I had never left. Be the first to comment. Nobody's responded to this post yet. Add your thoughts and get the conversation going. Story 30. Lost in the woods. As she tried to find her way back to the hiking trail in the waning light, she heard a noise behind her. She turned just in time to see it slithering back behind a tree to hide. Be the first to comment. Nobody's responded to this post yet. Add your thoughts and get the conversation going. Story 31. I held my daughter in my arms and tried to comfort her but I knew there was nothing more I could do. If I try to stop the bleeding, her sacrifice will have been for nothing and will continue to starve. Story 32. The X-ray glasses I bought said they were guaranteed to work. When I put them on and looked out at local passerbys I realized these glasses worked a bit too well, and that we had been lied to all our lives on what we actually were. Story 33. Listening intently I dug deeper into the grave. Hoping to God I wouldn't hear the sounds of something digging its way up. Story 34. I was walking in a cave with my friend as we approached a drawing of a great demon who lived 300 years ago. As I looked at the drawing I slowly grinned on how much people used to praise me. Story 35. My father went into the attic to finally find the source of the laughter. He still hasn't come back down. Story 36. Sitting in my bed in the dimly lit room I can see their anger and frustration in their eyes. Why is it that only I lived and they didn't? Story 37. Hey John the First hate these new masks it makes it impossible to see the differences in the Ebola variants. Hey Stephen how's the kids? Stephen why is your mask fogged up? Story 38. I stared at my young son's body lying on the bathroom floor after he suffocated to death. He didn't know that I poured bleach into the toilet beforehand so the ammonia in his piss would create mustard gas when it mixed with the bleach. Story 39. Hundreds of years after my death they thought out my head I'm now part man part machine and effectively immortal. But I can't afford a body and I don't see how I'll ever be able to, I can't even get out of the head storage warehouse. Story 40. Phone in hand I exited the room slamming the door behind me. A cracking sound made me look back, only to witness the limp body of my beloved cat, head askew. Story 41. A Tale of Two Cities. When my father rung me on the phone and told me he wanted to come to town to visit, I was besides myself. When he arrived and hung me by the phone, I was besides myself in a pool of blood. Story 42. It's just like Twister except you play in pairs and one moves the other's body part to the right color. After an easy win streak I chuckled, this game is only hard if your teammates in one piece. Be the first to comment. Nobody's responded to this post yet. Add your thoughts and get the conversation going. Story 43. After forgetting to bring my CPAP machine on vacation with me, I was glad to get home and strap it on for a decent night's sleep. I hadn't realized the cockroaches had made a nest inside it until dozens came pouring down the tube and into my mask. Story 44. I comfort my wife at her twin sister's funeral as she cries into my shoulder. I'm being generous allowing her near me, because I know how much my real wife hated her sister. Story 45. My wife let out a shriek and leapt from her chair as the spirit spelled out Mom on the Ouija board. Instinctively she grabbed her bump before letting out an agonizing wail. Story 46. As a horror movie fan, I had always wondered what real gore would look like. Well, now I know. I think as I watch the blood pour out from my victim's mouth. Be the first to comment. Nobody's responded to this post yet. Add your thoughts and get the conversation going. Story 47. The elderly man couldn't believe that someone would leave the poor child behind, so he helped him look all around for his parents. He couldn't believe his luck, and after checking thoroughly for cameras, he drove off with the child, reassuring him with promises of ice cream. Story 48. Could somebody help me close this window? I think it's stuck, I called out to my friends in the other room. When all of a sudden the window gave way and proceeded to break every bone in my hands as they were crushed in the windowsill. Story 49. Two bloodied armed men barged into our home during dinner and demanded we not move. We sat still in complete shock as a distorted figure started tearing them apart, before it took a look around the room and ran away. Be the first to comment. Nobody's responded to this post yet. Add your thoughts and get the conversation going. Story 50. You can use the umbrella like a parachute, I told the kids while we were on the roof and they hurried to get their umbrellas. They will fall and die, just like I did, and then I won't be alone anymore. Story 51. They say that the black-eyed children visit those who know about them, but I didn't believe it until today. I'm not complaining though, free food is free food. Story 52. I watched my mommy and daddy talk to the doctor as they stood beside my hospital bed. What does locked-in syndrome mean? That's all for today. Please don't forget to like and subscribe.